Today, we're talking about a professional gambler, murderer, adventurer, economist, mathematician, financier, international celebrity, and spy. We're talking about freaking John Law, the Scottish man who kind of ruined France. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, welcome to Culture Cult. My name is Marie. I am the host of the show, and this is a show where we are trying to learn about every single country in the world. That's also by telling you the craziest story that's happened in every country. And we've been on a Scotland kick for like 6 months because every time I'm like, okay, I'm done with Scotland. I'm like, no, I'm not. There's another story. So yeah, this was another one I gave to my writer, Laura, where I was like, I know we said we'd move on, but we have to cover John Law. So today I'm joined by my cousin Grace, also known as Gravy. And we're going to talk a little bit about Scotland, of course, in the beginning. And then we're going to end on the crazy freaking story of John Law, who, again, I say this all the time, but why isn't there a movie about this guy? Let's get into it. Okay, let me get my coffee. How do you feel about this being the last Scotland story?
I'm honored that I get to be, because I was also on the first one too.
Well, the first one was with Julia with the ghost hunter. Sorry to say.
Okay, I was the second one then.
Yeah, but you were Mary Queen of Scots, which is like the
Right.
Scottish story.
You're right. I get to be part of two, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
And I just love Scotland. I want to go back.
I know. I think we say that every episode.
I want to go to Scotland. I want to do Ireland again.
I want to do Ireland again. Okay.
I've also I've never done the Highlands, so
that's okay. That's something I want to talk about. So we actually haven't even covered like all the cool things you can do in Scotland. I feel like we covered like random facts. I kind of asked chat to break down, if you're this person, here's your Scotland adventure.
Am I about to get a personality quiz?
We can kind of make it a quiz. Actually, before we get into this, I really want to tell you, because I have it in my notes to say this before we get into this.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you my friend's fucking embarrassing Gerard Butler story that happened in Scotland.
Okay,
Did I
great.
tell you this?
No.
Oh my God, this talk about cringe. Like, this is one of the cringiest things that would like scar me. And I'm going to tell it for Jessie because she would never come on and tell it.
I don't think I know this one.
Okay, so she was in the Highlands with her Scottish boyfriend, and they were in the middle of fucking nowhere at this cafe. They found this like random coffee shop in the middle of nowhere in the Highlands for like a pee break. And they go and grab a coffee. Jessie walks outside and she looks up and it's fucking Gerard Butler. Like, there's like nothing around for like 50 miles. And like it's her and Gerard Butler at this coffee shop outside.
You start singing Phantom of the Opera.
So it's like she goes out to the picnic tables. He's at one picnic table. She's at the other one. And then she was like, I have to take a picture of him. Again, it's just them. And he's not that far away from her. So she pulls out her phone. And she slowly pulls it over the table.
No.
And then he was like, "Are you fucking serious?" And he starts yelling at her. And then she was like,
Gerard.
I'm so sorry. And he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then he left. And that's how she ruined Gerard Butler's day. Like, that was the only time she could have met Gerard Butler. He yelled at her.
Gerard was like, surely no one will recognize me in the middle of nowhere cafe.
Or surely this woman won't take a picture
when it's only us.
It's literally like they're both facing each other and she slowly pulls up her phone.
Does she have a picture though?
I don't think she got.
That's so sad.
That's the fucking worst part. And I was just like, how traumatizing, because like obviously no one knows over here. Me and Grace, we love Phantom.
We do love Phantom.
We love the Phantom of the Opera. So imagine like
I feel like I would have to like start singing, you know?
I actually don't know what I would do.
Like you would see him and you'd just be like, in sleepy side. Like he can't yell at you then, right?
I think he would.
He like
sounds like a kind of grumpy guy.
I feel like he would be like,
he starts singing that.
just like awkward stare.
You just start walking closer.
He couldn't yell at you. Like there's no way. Like,
I think he
just
could.
Be confused. I know. No, he can't.
I don't even know what I would do. I think I would just be like, "Sir, you were the whole reason I had sex dreams as a child."
Okay, maybe don't lead with that one.
I've like honestly like Phantom was like the sexy thing that ever happened to me. And so the fact that like that was her only time to meet the Phantom of the Opera and he yelled at her.
Tragic, tragic.
Just like because that kind of ruins it because now when you watch Phantom, you just see his face yelling at you in the Highlands. Like poor
That's
Jesse.
such a good celebrity story.
I got yelled at by Gerard Butler.
Yeah, like a fun fact you share,
Yeah,
like three
yeah.
truths or two truths and a lie or whatever it
I'm
is.
telling that poor Jessie
Uh,
because I'm embarrassed for her. Okay, I actually got Jessie to tell the story. We were at dinner and I was like, Jessie, tell the story. And then she did. And I realized I told the story really, really wrong. But still really freaking funny. And so I recorded her at dinner telling the story. You got to hear. I'm going to save it for the end of the episode so you actually hear Jessie tell the story because it's like it's just as bad. But I'll save it for the very end of the episode for you to hear that recording. Don't meet the celebrities, guys. Okay, let's actually talk about Scotland. Scotland. Okay, so this is like if this is you, here's your Scotland adventure. Okay. If you're the romantic main character in a period drama, you like misty mornings, wind-swept cliffs, castle ruins, and an internal monologue. Okay. You're gonna love the Isle of Skye. Specifically, you're gonna stay near Portree, and you're gonna drive to wow, these names are insane. Corang.
I feel like I need to see what that spelled like.
I feel like we need to. I'm gonna spell it out loud in case someone wants to type this into Google. It's Quiriri Quiriraing. Ooh, wow. So it's like
Grang.
it's very green mountains.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, you're gonna go there. Okay.
Okay.
And then you're going to go to the Elan Donnan Castle at golden hour because that's the castle that's on the lake with mountains behind it. Then you're going to go to Glencoe, and then you're going to go to Ness Point and at a sunset walk to the lighthouse and bring a coat so the wind doesn't hit you too hard. So it sounds like
the perfect day.
I know. So you're like all the dramatic ass landscapes. It doesn't say bring a friend. It sounds like this is a solo activity. Like
I feel like I would need like a cape.
Yeah, or elevate to a cape. Be that freak.
If I'm alone on the Isle of Skye and going to the lighthouse on my walk, I'm gonna be like, to the
honestly,
lighthouse.
You need the cape that's like whipping in other people's faces,
like Snape,
literally like Snape. Yeah. So that's if you're the romantic main character in a period drama. Now, let's say you're the history nerd, but you still want it to be aesthetic. Guess what? You're gonna head to Edinburgh. Come on. You're going to head to Edinburgh. It's still touristy, but you need to go. You're going to go to the medieval streets. Maybe you'll go to the underground vault tour, the haunted vaults, which we actually interviewed a ghost hunter about that. We did that.
We did do that.
We did do that. And I thought it was actually quite relaxing down there. What I didn't like was the skinny little steps going down and knowing that like there's only one way out.
I feel like I enjoyed the Edinburgh ghost tour, and that one didn't freak me out as much. The Dublin one, there was one location where I freaked out. It was that abandoned castle in the middle of the city.
The energy was weird. Like, we didn't walk up to that. I remember.
Yeah, I was like Marie. I was like, I'm not going up. This is where I stop.
Yeah. I think I got freaked out more in the Edinburgh graveyard at the end.
Yeah.
More than in the vaults. I weirdly thought the vaults were relaxing. I don't think that's supposed to be the point, but I thought it was very calming down there. Then you're going to go to Stirling Castle. And then, of course, if you're a history nerd, you need to go to a battlefield. So you're going to go to Culloden Battlefield. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the cities. You're going to be the city person.
I fear I'm not a history nerd.
Okay. So right now you're feeling more like dramatic cape walks.
Yeah, that's definitely leaning that way. I
feel like I've done the history one, so I'm still leaning dramatic cape. I'm the main character. This is next. I want a dramatic nature, but I hate hiking. I suffer in hikes. So
I love hiking.
Okay, this is not for you. So this is like your person who like you want to see the views from your car. You're gonna drive through Glencoe. You barely have to get out of the car. You can go to Loch Lomond. You can go to the Glen.
Loch Lomond?
Oh, is that what it's called?
I sang a song about Loch Lomond once.
Why did you sing that?
It was like in choir. I'm gonna look up the Loch Lomond song.
So dramatic.
By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love were ever wont to gay, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
And then there's the Old Man of Store, Storr. Again, you can see all these things without getting out of your car. This is for that person. But this is not for Grace because she hiked Norway.
I hiked Norway. I'm a Viking.
You almost lost your toe. So
I lost 3 toenails, but all the toes were fine.
well, okay. The next one is actually me. I think I figured out who I am in this situation.
Okay.
This is for the person who wants the cozy pub, small town energy, talk to locals. You want fireplaces, live folk music, one main street, deep conversations with maybe some local drunks. I'm going to go to Oban, Oban. There's a seafood, there's harbor, cozy pubs. There's also Portree, which is like a beautiful, colorful harbor, and it's tiny and intimate. Maybe I go to a whiskey tasting in Inverness, smaller city, but it's the gateway to the Highlands. And then I have to end the night a live music night in a pub in Glasgow. I actually really heard that I would like Glasgow. Emmett told me I would love Glasgow.
I bet you would like Glasgow. I've never been, but I've heard it's a good time.
Yeah.
That does sound like you.
I want that. I really want that. I would like to pair it with one more of these things. Okay.
I feel like the first one is still me.
Well, I think this last one could be you too.
Oh.
Okay. I want to pair that with, if this is the last one, if I need remote, wild, and almost unsettling beauty. You want fewer people, big skies, wind, and silence. You would like the Isle of Harris, a Caribbean-looking beach in Scotland. Whoa, looking that up right now.
Oh.
Oh my God. It looks like Australia.
Look at this cow.
Look at this cow on the beach. That is on a random island. That's why it's called Isle. Okay, I got it.
I look up like Isle of Skye while I'm here too.
The Isle of Skye looks incredible.
Wait, I think I still might be about Isle of Skye.
Okay, wait. Now wait, we'll look up one more. This is if you can also go to the Isle of Lewis.
Isle of Lewis.
Which is like, it's like old timey little. Ooh.
Oh, is this where Stonehenge is?
I don't even know, but it's like old timey huts, and then you got these big protruding rocks coming out of the ocean. So this is for people who like really want no one around, and then you drive the North Coast 500 route starting in Inverness, which Jessie did, and that's how she met Gerard Butler.
Wow.
You could meet Gerard Butler.
You could meet Gerard Butler too.
Are you gonna be a weirdo in front of him? Because I would.
Beware, he might yell at you.
Okay, I feel like I'm a mix of romantic main characters, so I think we need to go to the Isle of Skye.
Mm-hmm.
We need to take the Harry Potter train there somehow. Yes. But then we end the trip in like these pubby pubs, live music, drunk singing with people. And like we fly out of Glasgow and go to these edgy, fun pubs. That's my ideal trip.
Okay.
What about you?
I feel like I'm a mixture of the first one and the last one, and then maybe a hint of the pub vibe.
Okay. Less pub, more sky.
Less pub, more sky. Yes. But I think also like mixing in a little bit of pub fun too, because I feel like the live music in a pub is also a vibe.
Yeah. But that's like after a long day of hiking, you know?
Yeah. And then I'm like so tired and all I want is like a beer and some music, you know?
Yeah. And like a shepherd's pie.
Yeah. Or like a stew of some sort.
Yeah. That's ideal. Honestly, if you haven't been to Scotland and you're listening to this, like, please
go.
Dear God.
Just go.
Please go. You will never regret going to Scotland.
I can't even believe I haven't been back since 2020.
It's not great. We went when it was like COVID. So it was,
we couldn't really experience it.
Yeah. We need to do another Ireland and Scotland trip. We have to do Ireland again.
I really want to do, I want to do both. Like, I want to do this in both places, but like get a car and just drive around and camp and hike.
That's what I want to do.
Okay. what personality is
No,
like
okay.
camp, hike, and pub and get a car.
I still stand by my thing. Like we start in Edinburgh, we start in the cities, but the mid trip is all hikes. But then a pub will be upon us at any point,
There's gonna be pubs.
There will be pubs. You don't have to plan for the pub. A pub appears,
You're right.
I'm down to wear the cape with you on these hikes.
Okay, so when we go to Scotland and we're camping, we will wear capes and we will make sure that we get a video of that, of us running to the lighthouse on the cliffs.
Let's be clear, we are not going to find our husbands on this trip.
This is not for husband searching. This is for purely running in capes in the sky.
That's it. We have made a choice if we're doing that.
In Ireland, no, we're finding husbands.
Oh, Ireland husband. We're switching it up.
Cape.
No, what the fuck is a cape?
We were never in Scotland with capes if we're in Ireland.
Also, one of the most embarrassing videos of me is like me running. There's a video of me on Facebook and me running throughout your house in Tennessee with my own red cape.
Wait, I'm sorry. This is on Facebook.
I think it is. I think it's like deep into Facebook. And I'm like running around your house. And then my mom's yelling that we have to go home. And I'm like, no, not yet. And I'm like 14 years old. That video exists of me somewhere. If you want to actually do a deep dive. But okay, we have to get into our last story of Scotland.
Scotland.
Oh my gosh.
You have our hearts.
I'm a bit sad about leaving Scotland, this little series.
It's okay.
But there's so much history there. I'll probably end up doing another story about it. But there tends to be a theme. So let me go over the stories that we've told in Scotland since we started. We've done the Scottish ghost hunter about the ghosts of Edinburgh. We've covered the tragedy of Queen Mary of Scots, the absolute shit show of the Darien scheme. Did you listen to that?
I did listen. I listened this morning.
Fucking shit show. And if you haven't listened to that episode, that's probably the one I recommend the most because it's literally the reason why England and Scotland are in a union and Scotland can never get out of it. And it's all over something really stupid, which is annoying. That's how I took away from it. It was
human error at its best.
Massive human error. Yeah. And that also plays into today's story. So today we have another shit show of Scotland. But I want to say before, like, if you're Scottish and you're like, hey, man, why are you covering all of our shit shows? Well, let me give out some shout outs. Okay. Y'all created Alexander Graham Bell. He created the telephone. We wouldn't be able to do this freaking podcast if it wasn't for you, Alexander. So thank you very much. You also, Scotland, created the original James Bond, Sean Connery. There you go. You also created Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who created Sherlock Holmes. You also pretty much created Harry Potter. So don't get your panties in a wad. We know that you're great. That's like we just bragged about you for like 30 minutes. Like, come on. You're fucking great. But y'all have created some like shit show situations. And so today we're talking about another shit show. We are talking about the professional gambler, murderer, adventurer, economist, mathematician, financier, international celebrity, and fucking spy. We're talking about John fucking Law.
Guys, he's a catch.
Is he? You'll find out.
Jack of all trades. He's done it all, man.
He's had every human experience possible. I don't think you can top this man. Actually, I don't. So I will say this story has a bit of finance, economics. How do we feel about that?
Well, I work in marketing, so take that as you will.
And I produce podcasts, so this is not going to be your like educated version of John Law's story. I watched one last night that was heavily economic. In about 30 minutes of it, I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So, okay, so let's get into it. John Law. We're going to be talking about how the fuck he ruined France in the 1700s.
John,
big shit show.
Not France.
He somehow convinced an entire country to play Monopoly with their economy. So let's get into it. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Laura Haley, my friend, my client, and the researcher and writer of this podcast. Thank you for writing this, Laura. If anything's witty, it's because of Laura.
Way, we love Laura.
We love Laura. Okay, So my boy Johnny was born in Edinburgh, of course, 1671, as one of 12 children to a family of goldsmiths and bankers. So right out of the gate, you think he's probably destined to be good with money or incredibly bad with it. We'll find out. So he came from like a really prosperous family, and at 12 years old, his family bought Lariston Castle outside of Edinburgh. But then tragedy struck, and John's dad died during surgery in 1688. But kind of good news, John inherited the entire estate and wealth.
Wait, was he the oldest of the 12?
I don't even know. Laura, you didn't write that in.
Laura.
Laura, let's assume I don't fucking know. So he inherited the money, though.
He got it.
Maybe there's a lot of women in the family. They didn't let them touch the money. So as rich kids do, he is sent to boarding school, but he was a rebellious kid and didn't want to further his education. So after boarding school, he was like, I'm not going to go to university. I'm going to go to London. I'm going to stay out all night. I'm going to be a little slut. I'm going to womanize, and I'm going to fucking gamble. So that's the life he chose. He starts gambling, and he actually ended up gambling away his entire fortune.
Oh. Okay.
Which is insane. So now to the point where, he gambled away his entire family's fortune, and now he's in debt to the point where he now has to figure out a way to avoid debtor's prison. So what does he do? He calls good old mommy. And he's like, Mom, hey, I just fucked everyone up and sold and gambled away everything. Can you sell the family's castle that you'll all live in to settle my debt? Thank you.
Okay.
So at this point, he's getting like a major F in my books, character-wise. Like, you're born wealthy. You spend all the wealth in gambling in London, and then you ask your family to move out of the castle and sell the whole estate because you can't get a control of yourself.
Do they do that? Do they move?
Well, luckily the mom is a really, really good businesswoman, and she actually had a savings enough to take care of the debt.
Oh, okay.
So he got off scot-free. But that isn't... Do you know anyone who's a gambler?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like I know people who do like sports bets and stuff like that, but I don't know if I would really count that.
Oh, I would count that.
Is that gambling?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I used to work at this Japanese steakhouse. And we used to work there. And all the chefs would gamble on the Alabama games. And these guys were like from Malaysia, Indonesia. They don't give a fuck about football. But they were throwing like thousands and thousands of dollars on these games. But they only made like probably $5 an hour. So
I mean, I'm just talking about like people like putting $5 in DraftKings. But
no. I feel like I've met some gamblers. Like it's extreme what they'll do.
I know. I don't think I've personally never gambled. I don't think I know any gamblers. If I do, they're not telling me about it.
Yeah.
And the one time I ever did anything was the Super Bowl squares. Have you ever done that?
Okay, Grace.
I paid like, I don't know, $15 to put my name in a square, and I didn't understand what it was, but I'm telling you, the whole game I was paying attention because I was looking at the square numbers or whatever it was. This was a couple years ago, and I don't even remember how it works. But I remember after that game, I was like, I'm never doing this again. I was like, this is so stupid, and I was clearly wound up the whole time on whether or not I would win money with the square. And I was like, I'm never gambling. And everybody was like, Grace, that wasn't even.
Yeah, it was $15.
They're like, bro, relax.
No, this guy literally was gambling with his estate money, like his whole, yeah. So I just was wondering if you knew any gamblers, because it is an interesting thing, personality trait, let's call it that. So John became, he was like pretty cool. He was handsome, he was charming, and he's a serious gambler. He kind of had all things going for him. But he wasn't like a hee, I go to Vegas sometimes and I throw some dice, or hee, I sometimes bet on the Super Bowl squares, apparently.
Like me.
But this man would like bet on anything. He bet on cards, dice, and he probably even bet on the damn weather. It was actually during all this gambling he found his passion. He learned all about math and calculating odds. To the point he actually ended up picking up a book and started learning about the science of probability and statistics. So gambling actually became a serious business for him, and this put him in the most influential circles in London, and he started meeting the right people. This I have respect for. I have respect for that. He wants to like not just like gamble blindly. He actually wants to learn the game and like the strategy behind it. I fucking respect that. He's moving up in London because of this. He's gaining a skill, is what I'm trying to say. So, April 6th, 1694, his gambling and crazy lifestyle got the best of him. At age 23, he ended up in a duel over a woman with a man named Beau Wilson. Quarreled over a woman named Miss Lawrence at the Fountain Tavern in the Strand in London. And as men did back in the 1600s, they just couldn't punch it out or arm wrestle. They had to kill each other over a duel, over a woman. So John actually won, but that means the other man died.
Murderer.
Murderer. All over this woman, Mrs. Lawrence. I don't know. I guess I just feel like, what is that like? Like, what if you're like, I don't even want either of you?
She's like, every time they kill the one that I want.
No, literally. Also, you're now you're going to jail. So our guy, John, found himself tried in court with the most infamous hanging judge in London. He got like the worst opportunity, the worst chances. He was also not allowed to have a lawyer. He was not allowed to give his own testimonial. And they think that the judge and the jury were actually paid off by Wilson's family. So,
well, first of all, you can't be paying off the judge. That's illegal.
Illegal.
And the jury.
And the jury.
You can't be doing that. Because if you get caught, well, A, you would probably go to jail. And B, then you'd have to do the trial all over again because it was tainted. I'm not a lawyer, guys. Remember marketing. Yes, I've seen all 26 episodes of Law and Order SVU.
And didn't learn shit, did you?
And I didn't learn anything.
I would say, in like the most legal terms, I would say he's fucking screwed. Like he's screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. So he was then convicted of murder and sentenced to death. But he's a hustler. He managed to negotiate his death sentence down to a fine on the grounds that it was actually manslaughter. But then William's family still had him in prison. But John was not going to have this. I mean, he's a gambler. He has things to do, places to be, dice to roll. So he actually ends up just escaping prison. And this is when he went on his little digital nomad era and fled to Amsterdam, as we all do.
Digital nomad?
Yeah, he went on his nomad era after he escaped prison, left England, of course, and fled to Amsterdam. This is where he spent time studying European banking systems and probably losing every single dollar he had at the gambling places. So yeah, at this point, he's learning about the banking systems, but he's also still gambling and womanizing all over Europe and evading prison. Pretty much a bachelor trip for like 20 fucking years. He does this. He's just on the run, gambling, women, and then checking out the banking systems. While hiding from murder, John became obsessed with the idea of paper money. At the time, most European countries were still using coins, but coins were a bit inconvenient. There's also a scarcity to it because it's made of gold and silver, and it just couldn't keep up with the growing economies of Europe, especially when they're colonizing the entire fucking world at this point. So John was thinking like, well, I don't understand. Like, why don't we just print the money? But John wasn't the first to think of this. Of course, China was. China was ahead of the times, as always, was already using paper money. Amsterdam was already using paper money in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. So this idea is not new to him or new to anyone, but he was the one thinking like, guys, we should really be all on this. And it excited him. Then he goes on another nomad trip and he goes to Paris and he meets a woman named Catherine Knowles, who's a married woman of noble birth and a descendant of Anne Boleyn.
Oh, what a little fun fact.
Fun fact.
God.
But more importantly, that she was married.
Yes,
that doesn't matter important to John. It doesn't matter to him. He was making a name of himself in Paris due to his gambling, his sketchy ass past. He was now rumored of being a spy, and he was getting a little too chummy with the married woman of Lady Catherine Knowles. So they end up skipping town and moving to Italy, where Catherine becomes Mrs. John Law, and they end up having 2 children together. Family man.
Add that to the list. Family man.
Right after a murderer. From there, he got really interested in money, of course, and mainly how it affects the government and global powers, and saw it as something more of an experiment. And he especially got interested in like the whole nation's wealth and just experimenting with that. He tried to contact England and be like, guys, if you pardon me, I'll give you like the coolest idea you've never heard of about how to handle your currency. And they're like, what the fuck? No. And also, you're supposed to be in jail. So that's when Scotland enters the story again. Again, because he turns to his homeland, Scotland. And after only a few episodes back, we learned that Scotland lost their entire economic wealth on a 1700s pyramid scheme to colonize one of the most dangerous places on earth, the Darien Strait. And so this is happening at the same time. Like that just happened. Like Scotland fucking.
So Scotland's part of the UK already at this point.
Not yet.
Okay.
At this point, Scotland is just the Darien scheme just happened. The entire country is wrecked. They are devastated. They are impoverished even before the Darien scheme happened. And they're so fucking desperate. So he was like, wait, let me go over there. So he goes back to his homeland and he writes a pamphlet about how to revitalize their entire economy and has people pass out the pamphlets. But he does it anonymously because remember, he's supposed to be in jail. And also people won't listen to him if they find out it's John Law writing it. So he does it anonymously. His game plan for Scotland was, guys, let's not back money by gold or silver because that has scarcity problems. Land is more stable. And he said that land is more superior to back money on. Again, I'm not an economist. Let's just nod our heads and be like, yes, John Law. Yeah.
I don't know if I trust this man, but
that's the feeling everyone's feeling. Like, literally, I think everyone says that after they meet him. I don't trust this man.
I don't know if I trust that guy, especially with my money.
Yeah. So, but again, Scotland's desperate. So the courts actually listen to pamphlets and read them, and they actually like split in the courts of the decision of like, should we follow this random anonymous like tip that we should be backing our money to land, and enter another duel. They can't figure it out in the courts. So two lawyers end up getting in a duel with each other and like killing the other one. And that's when they're like, guys, this is getting out of hand. Let's just not do this. Let's not listen to this random pamphlet. And actually a new deal has come in and we can actually unionize with England instead.
Bruh.
That was the decision. That's such a critical point because they could have taken John Law's advice and maybe would it have worked? I don't know, but they might not have unionized with England if they had listened to John Law, but they didn't. And as we learned in the Darien scheme, also a bunch of rich people decided to unionize with England because they got incentives. So Scotland, yeah, you're now stuck with England forever. So then he was like, again, England doesn't want to listen to my money plans. Scotland, my homeland, doesn't want to listen to my money plans. Let me talk to Austria. Vienna also rejects him. They say the same thing. They're like, we don't trust this man. So where does he go?
To France.
To France.
Oh la la.
Yeah, sorry, France, for what's about to happen to you.
We knew you couldn't trust him. Come on.
But this is the second time two Scottish people have fled to France when they were exiled. Also Mary Queen of Scots.
France is a beautiful place.
It's a beautiful place. Beautiful food. Beautiful tea.
I would like to flee to France.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Maybe I should start getting in more trouble.
Yeah, so we can flee to France.
I need reason to flee to France.
I feel like that's the thing you do if you're Scottish. If when in trouble, flee to France. Because honestly, they're the natural enemies of England. So it's a good thing to do. So, but he doesn't do that for that reason. He does it because France is also in a horrible situation, also very desperate. Before that, he wrote a book. He wrote a book and published it called Money and Trade Considered. And in this book, he laid out his economic theories. And his main idea was that a country's wealth should come from trade and employment and land and not just hoarding gold. And John was like, nah, this is the idea. This is what's going to work. And he spent years trying to pitch his paper money to other governments in Europe, but they were like, no. But France, again, was in a dire situation. And they're like, you know what? Our economy's fucked either way. So let's hear this guy out. And France was broke. Okay. Like looking for coins in the couch, cushions broke. There was famine where people were eating boiled grass, kind of broke.
Mm.
Yes. They had just finished the War of the Spanish Succession, and their national debt was insanely high. Also, there were a group of 40 rich dudes who controlled the taxes and were just wrecking the nation. Like they were in a really, really shit situation. They needed some sort of savior, enter John Law. So they agreed, like, hey, literally things cannot get worse. The king.
no.
Oh, no.
It
Enter
can.
John Law. So John pulls out his briefcase full of economic theories and convinces the French government to let him establish the first paper money system in France. He then found the Banque Générale. At first, he was mocked, as all geniuses are. And even worse, he was a major threat to rich bankers with this new bank. So they were like, let's create a scheme to screw over John and this new bank. They decided to all deposit $5 million in his bank, but then go in and withdraw at the same time, screwing him over.
What?
Yeah. So
That's where the math part, I'm like, oh,
yeah, this is
okay. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Let me tell you about advertising.
Yeah. A point is, it's like he made enemies and they were trying to ruin his bank. So they deposited some money and then they were like, let's all withdraw at the same time. So he literally has no money to give to other people.
Okay, following. Got it.
Yes. But he called this government daddy and he was like, help me. And they bailed him out. But how they bailed him out was really smart. They were like, we're going to give you a loan, but we're going to make sure when we drop off this new loan money, it's in the most busiest part of the day of the bank. And they show up in a chariot full of gold. So all the bank people at the bank were like, whoa, this bank is legit. Like the government sent a chariot of gold. Like this bank is legit. I want to put my money in this bank. And that solidified the reputation of the bank because that chariot. So the people that were trying to
Now that's marketing.
That's marketing.
That's marketing.
So the people that tried to screw over John actually lit the fire of his bank. So after that, people were like, you know what? Whatever John says, I'll do. He says to start using paper money. We're going to start using paper money. And guess what?
Only in badly.
It worked. It worked.
I mean, we still use paper money today.
We do. So the French economy started going again, and there was more trading, and there was even more belief that, like, hey, this guy John Law actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. He really went from escaping murder trials to being in charge of an entire country's money. Laura wrote, this guy would do wonders on LinkedIn.
In charge of France economy. Leader of French economy and murderer.
Do not look at my rap sheet. So
not criminal.
Not criminal. So, of course, John is a gambler. So he's all about that dopamine rush. He was getting a big head and he wanted more. And just being in charge of France's money was not enough. So he's the founder now of the Mississippi Company, which was supposed to develop France's territory in the US. And John was telling anyone that could listen that the Mississippi Company was overflowing with money. And it was just insane to not get part of the action. If this doesn't remind you of the Darien scheme of that last episode, where all these investors in Scotland were like, guys, what's happening over in South America is just insane. You got to get in on the action. But they've never been over there. They have no clue what they're actually talking about. And so he's trying to hype up America, essentially, and be like, guys, our new colony is the shit. You should be pouring money in on this. So the demand for the share in the Mississippi Company was so insane. That's actually where we get the word millionaire, because people were getting rich from investing in this company.
Oh,
the Mississippi Company.
That's cool. A little fun fact.
I know. All of a sudden, John became one of the richest men in Europe. He was in charge of the territories money that stretched from modern day New Orleans all the way to Canada. He was like rich, palace owning rich. He controlled most of France's economy and a majority of what is now the United States. Like this fucking guy, this guy. He had real power. Laura wrote, it's like if Jeff Bezos was running the Federal Reserve and the IRS. One guy. He's Jeff Bezos rich. And all is well until 1720. Because there's always a but in these stories, it never just ends right. And at this time, the bank went from a private bank to the actual royalty of France bought it, which sounds cool, right? Except now it's less controlled There's more people involved, less regulation, and there's way more temptation to print as much money as possible because it's not really him, just his bank now. It's all of France's government's bank. So, yeah. And this is where it's going to get a little bit economic,
Okay.
a little financy, and we're all going to nod our heads and pretend we know what I'm talking about. Yes.
Nodding head.
Marketing background.
Head nodding.
Okay, we're all nodding our heads. Okay. He then issued new shares. Honestly, what the fuck is a share? Let's look that up before I start the story. What is a stock and what is a share? Let's all learn together, guys. Don't yell at me if you already know this. I know, I'm an idiot. Thank you. Okay, what is a stock versus a share for dummies?
Dummies.
Let's see what Chat Daddy says.
Chat Daddy.
Stocks and shares both represent ownership in a company, except stock refers to a general ownership, while shares are the specific units you own. Okay. That clear anything up for y'all? Because it didn't for me. Do you feel like you have clarity?
I mean, that's not like a very good explanation of it.
It says if a company is a pizza, the stock is the entire pizza and shares are the individual slices. Bro, I don't care. All right. He then issued new shares for the Mississippi Company to buy the French East India Company, and now he controlled not just pretty much America, the new America, and not just France. He pretty much controlled all the trade of France. Again, bringing back to that like Bezos Amazon situation, like he like monopolized all the trade. And he was like, wait, I'm just going to raise the price of these shares. But the thing is, the whole population now has stake in this company. Like, it's not just the rich people that are buying into this. It's all the like broke people. It's everyone. Everyone in France is buying shares in this. Very, very similar to the Darien scheme, where all the Scottish people funded that trip to the Darien Strait. The whole country's in on this, which is probably never a good thing. People were selling their homes. They were selling their farms to buy this stock. Because the trick was you only have to put 10% down to buy parts of the company. So, do you know the philosopher Voltaire?
Yes.
Okay. He was
not personally.
Do you know him?
Yeah, we hang out every Friday.
Yeah.
No, I'm familiar with Voltaire.
Okay. So he has a quote saying about this whole situation. He was like, "Have you truly lost your heads in Paris?" He was shook at how beggars were now becoming millionaires, and half the nation found the philosopher's stone and the mills of paper. He said he didn't know if John Law was a god, a crook, or a charlatan. Beggars were becoming rich, and newspapers were filled with rags to riches stories. So, like, he's watching all this go down, and he's like, the whole country is losing their goddamn mind, investing in this company, and the poorest of the nation is getting rich overnight, and the rich people... And it's like equalizing out. And the poor people are getting really, really rich. But over what? Again, we don't really know what he's selling. He's just saying, invest in Mississippi, invest in Louisiana Purchase. Like, send your money to the colony is pretty much what he's saying. But he does some good things. He built some roads, some canals, some bridges. But he is starting to make a lot of enemies. But again, John Law was now the wealthiest man in Europe.
England is sitting there and they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no.
The guy's still supposed to be in jail.
Hey guys, can you check the cell real quick? Because I don't think that motherfucker's in there. Like they're watching this and they're like, okay, I'm pretty sure they're like, let's just sit back and see, because this is the exact same proposition he proposed to them. Then they said no. So I'm sure they were like, let's just see what's going on here and see if this is a dumpster fire. They didn't move a muscle. But France is going crazy over John Law. He is now the wealthiest man in Europe, the man that's supposed to be in prison. He bought up vast areas of Paris. Can you imagine that? That's crazy. Like, the fuck?
Man, remember that castle he had in Scotland?
Honestly, Grace, imagine that. Imagine, like, buying the borough of Brooklyn. Like, buying Manhattan. Because you're that wealthy.
Can't even afford my apartment, man.
Bruh, I don't even have an apartment.
We're homeless. We're not. We're doing okay, guys.
Honestly, wait, let's pause because if John Law can go from like prisoner shithead to this, why can't we?
You're right. And we haven't even murdered anyone.
No, knock on wood.
Knock on wood. There's more hope for us.
I haven't lost my family's estate. I haven't been this much of a shithead. And this guy, look at this guy. This guy's an inspiration. He literally bought up half of Paris and the countryside.
I feel like we gotta see what the end result is before we call him an inspiration.
I know, but I'm still inspired.
But there's hope, guys. Rags to riches. Rags to riches.
Also, it makes me think about like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? Like when I hear stories like this where like people die around like age 50 and they accomplish this much, and it's not like it's great accomplishments, okay? But like, how are you doing this much with the same time I have?
They
Do you not
started
think
them
about
younger,
that?
you know? They started them younger.
I feel like they just give less fucks and they move faster.
Well, also, I feel like they have more time. And let me explain what I mean by that.
Okay, please. TED Talk.
I feel like technology takes up a lot of our time.
That's true.
And they didn't have that. And so they had more time to sit and think about what they could do with the country's economy.
Yeah.
Versus scrolling on TikTok for 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Actually. That's true.
They're like sitting there and they're like, I wonder what would happen if I did this to France today. And they were like, maybe I'll go do it. And we're just like, oh my gosh, I can't even watch a video for 15 seconds.
That's so fucking true. Wow, guys, we've got to do better. Like we could be taking over economies.
So everybody delete their apps.
Yeah, like stop listening to the podcast, actually.
Stop listening to the podcast.
And take over the goddamn world. Like,
there's potential for us.
there is potential. Also, I feel like back then, like there's just such high risk. Like you could get the bubonic plague tomorrow. Like you could end up being in a duel.
You gotta like live on the edge.
No, I think so. I think it was like you have to give no fucks and like live life bolder and faster because they didn't have like these cushy lives where like you work at a nice office and there's a gym and you get paid time off and you don't have to think about your mortality.
Yeah. They're like, they could die. I mean, they were like, we could walk outside and, you know, the plague, you don't know.
Literally. Or like some like crazy people storm your whole village and murder everyone. Yeah. I just feel like
I will say I do think especially like back then too, like they really did like people weren't going to school for as many years as we go to school, you know what I mean?
No.
Like they're like hitting, 12 and they're like, all right, to the workplace.
That's true. That's true. You're now a king or you're now in charge.
Like this guy's dad dies and that was like, all right.
That is true.
Get to work.
That we do start that kind of like career focus in our 20s when they're doing it at like 12.
Yeah.
Because people die and they're like, you are now the man of the state.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. But still, it's very, I am inspired by him, even though he's a bit crazy. So, okay. He's now the wealthiest man in Europe. He pretty much bought up Paris. But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. John was exaggerating about the wealth that the Mississippi Company would make for people by a long shot. Let's call him a fantastic marketer, going back to marketing. And in reality, the colony was actually struggling heavily. Very similar to the Darien scheme, anyone who even tried to attempt to travel to the New World and even landed there, half of them died. Even if they did come back, they were telling people, they're like, guys, it's not that great. It's not that great. And actually, my whole family died going there. But he was like, we need to keep that hush hush. We need to desperately get people to immigrate over there. If people immigrate over there, then we can get the colony up and running. And then I'm not just bullshitting these people, that they won't find out my lie. But no one wants to go. They just want to invest in this colony, but no one wants to actually leave France and go to the colony, this mysterious place across the world. So what do? They force people.
Oh no.
They force any beggar, criminal, or this is crazy, or servant who's been unemployed for more than 4 days and shackle them to a boat and take them to the Americas. You can't be unemployed for more than 4 days or you're going to get sent to America.
Oh, guys.
Not only that, they told a fucked up story about how they They would shackle criminals with prostitutes and put them all in the square and marry all of them at once, and then drag them on the boat and then force them to procreate. So then they would procreate for the colony. That fuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think about
I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to
experiment.
share that because it was really disturbing, but it.
Yeah, maybe we'll cut that out. I know
That's how much
that's upsetting.
That's horrifying.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you really think about it, Louisiana, Mississippi, why is it a bit ratchet? Maybe because the people
The
were
history.
forced beyond their will to go out there. So, anyways, so people started going to hiding. They were like, I could be sent to freaking Mississippi. Again, even to this day, no one wants that. Like, it's
Not
still
Mississippi.
awful. Fuck. Imagine leaving France and you get to Mississippi and you're like, this ain't shit.
You're in the swamp.
You're in the swamp. Ugh. Okay, so
Imagine going from France and then seeing an alligator and you're like,
what the fuck?
that's a straight up dinosaur. Guys. Like,
Terrifying.
had dinosaurs even been discovered of being in existence at this point? I don't know.
And guess what? There's no lavender fields and there's no cheese.
Just the swamp and the gators.
Yeah, fuck. And the heat.
Oh my gosh.
So once 1720 rolls around, people are starting to ask questions. Like, hey, John, yeah, you told us there'd be a bunch of money by investing in this. Like, where is it? What's happening? Like, what's happening with the Mississippi company? As you can imagine, there wasn't actually any gold or money to be invested in the Louisiana colony. So, of course, people got mad. Investors started demanding their money back. All of a sudden, John realized he's having a little bit of a problem. There wasn't actually enough money to back all the paper money he printed, which was like his number one thing about in the first place was about the value of money. But because it's gotten out of control, it's not privatized anymore. Too many hands are in the pot. He's now realizing he's about to lose it all. The richest man in Europe is like, I'm about to crash down, and I'm about to crash down hard. Prices of shares in the Mississippi company come down really hard. Everyone who was once a millionaire was now holding a piece of paper that was absolutely worthless. And market vendors were stop asking for paper money. They're like, you can't buy anything unless you have coins. But silver and gold were rapidly leaving the banks and the country. So then the government outlawed the ownership of coins, and you cannot, this is important, you cannot export any gold, silver, or diamonds. So they just tried to keep all the money, all the coins and gold in. But people didn't take this like nonchalantly, as the French do. They started rioting, burning trash cans, all that shit. That's what the French love to do. John Law realized too much money was being printed, and he ended up hosting massive bonfires, trying to burn the money and trying to show people like, guys, I'm fixing it. But that only pissed people off more because they're like, you're not fixing it. You're just burning it. So this did not restore their confidence. And Paris started to fill with angry mobs and hunting down John Law. And again, we know the French love a riot, and he kind of picked the wrong country to piss off.
You know that song in Beauty and the Beast?
Which one?
With the mob song.
Wait, which one is it? I haven't listened to that forever.
I have to look it up. I have to look it up because I need to see the words to remember how it goes. The mob song.
I'll find it so I can play it on the microphone.
It's time to follow me. Wait, and then it's like,
wait, I think Disney might sue me if I play that for more than 5 seconds.
Oh, Disney. What if I'm the one singing it?
You can sing it.
Okay. Through the mist, through the woods, through the darkness and the shadows, it's a nightmare, but it's one exciting ride. Say a prayer, then we're there at the drawbridge of a castle, and there's something truly terrible inside. Kill the beast.
Thought we were done.
We're done. That's what I'm like imagining.
Yes, actually. Yeah, with the pitchforks and everything.
Yeah.
Cue Beauty and the Beast. They're like,
Disney,
get that
please don't
fucking
sue me.
guy. Yeah, please, Disney, please, God. I'm not worth it. Promise you.
Disney, please.
Not worth it. Okay, so once again, John picked up his life and fled in the middle of the night like a coward. He left France with nothing to his name. The richest man in Europe, had to leave France with nothing to his name. And whatever little
Please tell me
money
he goes to Mississippi.
you think whatever little money he had was actually confiscated at the border. Why do you ask? Because he passed a law, remember, that you can't leave the country with any gold. He tried to leave the country with gold. They
Billy
took
Goose.
that shit.
Billy Goose.
So again, going back to his little digital nomad era, he spends the rest of his life wandering Europe, gambling, hustling. And he actually was so desperate enough for money, he became a spy for the British government. Only 9 years later did he die in Venice as a poor man at the age of 57. What's sad is that John's idea about paper money and central banking was actually pretty on point in what the system we use today. But it's the Mississippi Company crashing down that became one of the most famous financial disasters ever. So there you have it. John Law, the Scottish mathematician who almost broke France with the power of positive thinking and a serious addiction to gambling. Scotland, you should be proud, honestly, because you've produced a guy who was so economically destructive to France that it took decades to recover, and it added influence to the French Revolution. It was one of the main causes of the French Revolution. John fucking Law.
Wow.
Good job, Scotland.
John Scotland. Oh,
Scotland produces some dramatic characters.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Yeah. If anyone decides to come invest in your company and they're Scottish, maybe rethink that.
Think about that.
Think about that.
About that.
What'd you think of John Law?
I am surprised I didn't know more of the story, honestly.
I've heard his
I feel
name.
like this is pretty significant. And I went to business school.
No.
And I'm like, I don't remember. Now, to be fair, I didn't take economics or anything like that. So I was a marketing major.
I feel like
Let's
this should be
remember.
taught. This should be taught. This is
So
like
maybe in the economics classes, this is a topic, but I now do I remember everything I learned in college? No.
well, they might not
Obviously
like tell
not.
it. They might not tell it in like a cool story. They might be like, "This is what happens with inflation."
This is John Law. He was from Scotland.
Yeah, no, like they're not going to tell you the like murderous gambling addict who almost ruined France. They're going to tell it to you, be like, guys, this is why we don't have inflation. This is why, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you probably do learn about this stuff, but like not in the coolest way. Like this guy,
And then you
I'm
forget
just
about it.
impressed. I'm impressed. I'm always inspired by con artists. I think they're inspiring because they know how to hustle. They don't give up.
Mhm.
And I'm serious. He never gave up until he really did give up and he died in Italy broke. But it took all of France to kick him out for him to give up. His problem,
He tried.
his problem wasn't his brain. His problem was his unsatiated appetite for gambling. Like he
That's why
gambled.
it's an addiction, guys.
An addiction. He gambled with France's economy when he could have just had a successful bank. But that was boring to him. He wants the dopamine.
He had to keep going. He had to keep going.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's
Poor John.
Scotland. That was the end. We're covering Iran next, which is exciting.
Hmm.
Very different scene from the
Very.
moody, misty Scotland.
But still interesting. Still will be interesting.
Yeah, they have history that's like one of the oldest histories in the world. It's a bit overwhelming.
Exactly.
I can't lie. I'm a bit overwhelmed about covering Iran. I actually don't know why I chose Iran. I'm like, well, this is like the hardest country, but okay.
How many episodes are we thinking?
Laura's writing the episodes right now. I'll tell people. Okay, I have an episode about the first female astronaut from Iran. Yeah. And then I have an episode about Smeardis, the imposter king that I stole from the puppet history. We love.
Are we gonna shout out Shane? And
We
Ryan?
have to shout out Shane.
We love you.
We love you, Shane. Oh my God. I got that story from Puppet History, and I was like, oh, we have to do the story of Smeardis. Which
Man,
I
I
like.
forgot about Puppet. You know what? And I think we were watching Puppet History when we were in Edinburgh.
Yep.
That's when we started watching that.
Yeah.
So we had been big BuzzFeed Unsolved peeps for a long time.
That's still my number one show.
So good.
And then I have a couple Iranians. I interviewed an Iranian girl and her mom, which was really fun. And then I'm going to interview Emma's friend, I think. And I probably should touch upon what's happening in Iran right now because I feel like that'd be kind of crazy not to. But I also don't really want the Iranian series to be about that because it's like Iran's really ancient, guys. Like it's not just what's happening in the past 40 years. So I just feel like I'm not clear. You just saw me like explain that story. Do you really trust me explaining what's happening in Iran? Like I had to look
Like,
up
we're still unsure what stocks are versus shares are, guys.
I had to look up what stocks and shares were. Like so I'll touch on it, but don't expect an NPR BBC production from this girl. So yeah. Okay, well, Gravy, any last things you want to say? Oh, anything we want to say to Scottish people?
Scotland, we love you. Edinburgh, we'll be back. Glasgow, we will make a first appearance at some point.
Totally.
If you see two crazy people running in capes, that is totally not us. That's not us, guys. We would not do that. We wouldn't.
No.
There's no way.
No.
I'm not buying a cape right now.
Wait. Before we go, what color capes are we wearing? I feel like that's really important.
I feel like we have to wear like a dark colored cape, like a black or like a navy.
Well, I was thinking, but like green. We have to be our own colors, you know, like to have our own
or
theme.
Red.
Well, what colors do you think you'd want to wear?
I feel like I originally was envisioning like a black cape.
Love.
So I feel like I can't.
I was imagining you more in a dark, deep blue. Or I think Julia
navy is my favorite color. So I feel like that would be my other route.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, when I was just imagining myself running around in the cape, I just like it was black in my mind, I guess.
I feel like I want a deep purple.
Ooh.
With like little tiny stars on it.
Oh,
like gold stars. Like, fuck, that's so hot. That's so cool.
You would literally look like a wizard.
No, tiny stars. Tiny.
No, you would look like I'm looking up a wizard.
No, I think you're right.
you need the hat.
Stop.
I mean, wait. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's not purple, but
that is like the tackiest fucking wizard. Wait, like, right.
That's what you described. Though.
Okay, fine. I'll wear a dark green cape. No stars.
Oh, look, this one's purple. Oh, perfect.
I'll wear a dark green cape, no stars. Or, okay, honestly, here's how I see us. You're in black. That's me. I'm wearing a child's cape. No, you're in black. Okay. Julia is in deep navy blue. Emma is in deep green, emerald. Yes. I'm in deep purple.
I love this.
I see that. And then we're going to gallivant around Scotland.
We would go viral.
And not a cool way. Because I'm wearing the
not
kids' cape.
A cool way. And we were going to be like, however long we're in Scotland, everybody's going to be like, have you guys seen the 4 girls in capes?
The cape girls.
The cape girls.
Yeah.
Running around.
Yeah. Honestly, fuck it. You only have one life.
You're right. It would really bring us back to our roots running around in the Nashville backyard.
Yeah. And also just like, I'm going to do it. That's when we run into Gerard Butler and we're like.
And we would, at that point, like we're in capes. The only thing left to do is sing Phantom of the Opera. Like, there's no other option.
No.
And Gerard wouldn't know what to do.
No.
Like,
4 girls.
Nobody would know what to do. 4 girls in capes singing Phantom.
If anything, he'd want a picture with us.
Honestly, you're right. He wouldn't be able to be angry about that.
No.
He'd be like, first of all, beautiful voices. Secondly, Secondly, these capes are badass. Like,
Oh my God. I'm not kidding, Grace. I think we really need to do this.
I think we have to do this.
Like, oh, and we're at the pub and we have our beers. We're the
You know how
mysterious
many
girls.
friends we would make at the pub.
I don't know, actually. It depends on the town. I could see us like getting like murdered or like or like what's it called? Shanked in Glasgow because we're like clearly easy targets.
I don't know. I think we would look intimidating. Not if we have the gold stars, though.
Yeah, not with my cape.
Not with your cape.
You ruined my cape, Grace.
You were describing it, and I had that picture in my head, and I had to tell you that that's what you would look like.
I know. Oh, I'm so excited for
Did you
us.
ever
Okay.
watch The Sword in the Stone?
I loved The Sword in the Stone.
I feel like I'm imagining that old wizard guy.
Yes.
Although I don't think he had stars.
No. Oh my God, I have like a long white beard. I'm like, fuck it at this point.
Don't know about Sword in the Stone.
That's a good one.
What wild that hasn't been made into a like live
Actual
action
movie. I know. I would watch that.
Anyways, guys, we're going.
Well, I guess Grace, I'll see you in Iran for the Iran series.
Am I going to be in the Iran series?
Yeah, let's see. I'm picking out my candidates.
But you will see me physically in New York very soon.
Period. I'm actually going to New York in a few days to hang out with Gravy and Julia and all my cousins. I'm so excited. I love New York. Okay. That story was crazy per usual. Real quick, some little updates for y'all. I think I'm going to have this podcast go to be a monthly podcast instead of like, I'm just doing a shit job for you guys because I'm so freaking busy with my business that like, I just, yeah. And I'm traveling again until I move back to California. So I feel like once I move back to California, I will have like more stability and then I can actually like hopefully hire someone to help me make this a weekly podcast again. But for now, we're going to do monthly and kind of go from there. So if you're upset with that, sorry. Do you want to pay me extra money to hire a team? But yeah, for now we'll do a monthly podcast. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who like for the past 3 months, I didn't produce anything and y'all still were listening. Y'all are the fucking homies. Let me just shout you out real quick. Frankfurt. Y'all are always there for years, for like a decade. Y'all been there for me. Thank you. Atlanta, Ontario, Chicago, Oklahoma, Tasmania. Ooh, this is from South Korea. Jeonju, South Korea. I loved Korea, by the way. I love your country. San Juan, New York, Denver, Colorado, Missouri, Michigan, Berlin, Mission Viejo, California. I'm coming back. New Jersey, Helsinki. Anyways, thank you guys for listening for the past 3 months and supporting me and still listening to the podcast. I did come back, but I think for right now we're going to do monthly episodes. So, okay, I promised you that you would actually hear the real Gerard Butler story from Jesse. So I'm going to go ahead and end the recording with that. And I will see y'all next month for the next travel story. Enjoy.
Literally, Gerard Butler has been my crush since I was like 10 years old, right? And then my boyfriend's Scottish, so I was in Scotland, and my family, when we were going up to the Highlands, were making jokes like, oh, say hi to Gerard Butler for us. And I'm like, yeah, right, he lives in California, I'm never going to meet him. So Stuart and I go to this tiny little town called Balmaha on Loch Lomond. And little did, like, okay, so like we're at this tiny town, not expecting anything, and we're like walking down to the lake. And I look, and I see this guy staring at me, this like old man. Like, that's how he like has a mask on. He's like he's like looking at me, and I'm like, it's kind of like that where someone's staring at you and you're like, ew, okay, but it's like too long of eye contact, and you're like, hey, it's uncomfortable. But then I look away, and I'm thinking creepy old man. But then I say to Stuart, I walk up to him, and I'm like, so I come up to Stuart, and I'm like, I think that's Gerard Butler, and he's like, there's no way, and I'm like, yeah, I think so. So he just like casually walks back, and he comes back with like, yeah, I think that's Gerard Butler. And I'm like, but wait, I don't want to just like look at him because he's in a baseball cap, right? Outside of this restaurant, there's no one around. He obviously doesn't want to be seen to talk to anyone. So I'm like, listen, okay, we're just gonna walk by again. Just take a picture like of me, but with him. That way I'm not staring at him, and I can just look at the photo and see if it's him.
That way it's not creepy at all.
Yeah, I know. Stuart takes the photo of me, and like as you know, we walk, and he takes it, and all I hear is in the loudest voice, "Did you get it?" my heart. I was like, "Oh my god!" Next thing I know, he's like getting up, and then on the picture, and I'll show you guys, he's like, "Christ." He was angry. He did not want to be spotted. That's the thing. Sometimes I'm like, should I have just walked up to him and said hi? No, he didn't want to be. He had a
He was in like
cap on.
the most remote places.
And in Balmoral, Scotland, where there's like nothing but sheep.
Oh my god.
What is it?
Right in front of him is like,
So then we go on social media just to make sure it's him. And yeah, it said Glasgow. He was like spotted out in Glasgow and everything. I'm like, that's amazing. But I don't no longer have a crush on him. So in the story, I did. I wrote him on Facebook and I said, "Happy birthday. I'm sorry." But like, of course he didn't. I'm sorry. It was his birthday. Apparently he just went through a breakup.
wait. Oh.
So I don't know. It was
late
with
by
somebody.
himself?
This was in 2021.
And
yeah.
my young bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love were ever wont to gay, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.